France.
Yoink!
Yoink!
It's banlist season once again, and just like every other YouTuber on this platform, I've decided to give you guys my take on which virtual cardboard deserves to make the list. And before I get into it, if you guys do enjoy this video and would like to see more stuff from me, please hit the subscribe button down below, as it's completely free and I'm very close to 40k and would like to hit that goal as soon as possible. By the way, if you guys have any ideas for 40k videos, feel free to leave them down below as well. Alright, so before we talk bans, let me give you my take on the current meta. Personally, I'm not super desperate for a ban list this time around. Unlike the last pro ban list we got back in December, the meta isn't super stale or power crept to a point where no matter what decks were introduced to the game, it just wouldn't budge. Just by looking at the current tier list, you can see there are plenty of decks featured on here that are either brand new or just a few months old. And the best deck of the format being Noble Knights, to be honest, is probably a good thing, considering that deck really isn't all that much stronger than the rest of them. So currently the meta feels quite diverse, and we're not really being dominated by just one deck at the top. The only deck I'm personally not a fan of on this list, and I'm very sure Konami would agree, is Desperado. Not because I think it's too broken or too hard to power creep, which is obviously not true as it's already happened before, it's just that this deck has been around since like July of 2019, and although it's had some changes here and there, if you take a look at the list, it doesn't really feature anything new. It can obviously run some of the new Xyz cards, but they are definitely not the focus of the deck. So this deck isn't exactly encouraging the use of new stuff, or from Konami's point of view, encouraging the purchase of new boxes. But other than that, I think we're in a pretty healthy meta, with just a few changes here and there, so I don't expect a huge nuke of a ban list this time around. Alright, so let's get to the most predictable ban out of the way first, as I'm pretty sure 90% of people who play this game will see this one coming. Do draw to 2. This one is extremely obvious, as currently in Onomatopoeia you have a roughly 60% chance to open Hatronade, which in most cases results in an instant one-turn kill. So something here obviously has to change. And as we know from previous ban lists, just like with Karakuri, Blackwing or Drag Unity, Konami doesn't like to actually hit the problem itself, which is Hatronade. They prefer just to hit the deck by slapping it with some limit to 2s, so you simply can't play it anymore. So looking at the Onomatopoeia list itself, there isn't a whole lot they could touch without making people angry, as most of the deck is either SR or ultra rare from fairly new boxes or a structure deck, and anything that isn't is generally a cuttable card anyway. The only card that really makes sense would be Do Draw, as it's only a normal rarity so people won't get mad, and it's the main reason you're drawing Hatronade so consistently anyway, as without its draw power the chance of drawing Hatronade going second drops to about a 45% chance. Whether or not this means people will stop running Draw or stop running Trinade, I'm not sure, as dropping Draw is actually really hard to do with it being a decent way to put certain Onomats in the grave to extend combos, but whatever the case, it would be great to see a massive drop in the consistency of this deck having the one-turn kill card going second. Next up, we got another pretty obvious one, just based on previous ban lists. The skill Balance. Now it's very obvious that Konami hates when generic skills make top tier decks extremely consistent. Skills like My Monster cards, Restart, Switcheroo, and even Balance itself have all received massive nerfs in the past due to simply creating ridiculous consistency in top tier decks, basically guaranteeing certain opening hands. Unfortunately for Balance, it has once again fallen into this category with Noble Knights, almost guaranteeing them a Merlin or Madrot, as well as an equip spell to activate him, along with a trap card for a bit of disruption. So how would they change the skill? They probably will just do something similar to what they've done in the past, and just do some math changes behind the scenes without changing what the skill is supposed to be doing, similar to what they've already done to Balance in the past, or what they did to My Monster cards. It's most likely they'll just make it so the skill is less accurate with more cards in deck, and it isn't so guaranteed. So your starting hand will often be a reflection of the balance of your deck, but definitely not every duel. Now we move on to the hardest ban list prediction to make in my opinion. Gwen and Boars to 1. Now honestly, of all the limits on this list, this is the least likely to occur in my opinion, but my small brain really can't see how Konami are going to hit the Noble Knight list otherwise. If we take a look at a current Noble Knight list, you'll notice that all of the main issues with this deck stem completely from either a really powerful brand new structure deck card like Merlin, or the trap card which is also only available from the brand new structure deck, so it's very unlikely Konami will want to hit them. And as shown in the past, they really hate hitting structure deck cards. And the other main offender is Madrot, which is not only featured in the structure deck, but it's also a box ultra rare, so don't really see them touching him either. So what could they possibly hit that would lower the consistency of this deck's opener? Well, it's certainly not going to be the spells, as running less of an equipped spell is extremely replaceable with just running any of the other equipped spells, leaving the only remaining pieces of the opener being Boars and Gwen. If they limit both Boars and Gwen to 1, it would mean you cannot run Gwen with Boars anymore, which will make it so you are punished quite heavily for selecting 2 traps with Boars' effect, as normally you can just select 2 traps and Gwen, so no matter if Gwen went to grave or to hand, you could still equip it to your Noble Knight to change its level ready for an Xyz. But if you are selecting 2 traps and a spell now, the chances of getting that spell to hand are very low. So unless you opened a double spell, it will be really hard to get the 2 equipped spells required for the standard combo, meaning you should once again have to gamble a bit by sending only 1 trap and 2 spells with Boars' effect, so you only have a 66% chance to hit the second spell and get a trap and grave. Like I said earlier though, this prediction is probably going to be false, as I don't really play Noble Knights all that much. I'm probably just going to be completely off on this one. But I'm really interested to see what Konami does decide to hit here, as they've kind of put themselves in a rough spot. Now for the ban I'm hoping for the most: the complete abolish of the skill Master of Destiny. So like I said at the start of the video, of all the top tier decks at the moment, this one is definitely the least appealing to Konami. Sure, it does use a structure deck that people have to pay money for, but it's using a structure deck that's been out for 2 years, so most people already own it by now, and I highly doubt it's making them that much money anymore. On top of that, the deck doesn't really use anything new. It has access to some of the new Xyz monsters in the extra deck, but they are most definitely not required for the deck to run, and are probably not summoned all that often in the majority of your duels. This leaves us with a rather stale old deck that I personally think should be removed from the list to make room for some new stuff, and Konami just wants removed so they can make more money. So what would be the easiest way to hit this deck that would remove it from existence without having to deal with the possibility of hitting a structure deck? Now remember, there is a lot of cancer in this list that people want banned. Misjudge as a searchable turn 1 negate. Head judging as a coin flip win condition. Cup of Ace as a pot of greed. But what do all these have in common? A coin flip. So if the coin flip skill was removed, all these cancerous cards would just disappear, as they're not played in any other deck. I think this skill is probably going to be turned into an Arcana Force only skill that requires you to run a ton of the Arcana Force monsters with different names to be able to work. Either that, or just straight up only affect the coin flips of Arcana Force monsters, since that's probably who the skill was aimed at in the first place, since it's being on Sartorius. This makes by far the most sense to me, as it would completely remove a lot of the AIDS gameplay from the game, and doesn't touch the Desperado structure deck at all. So the cards can still be played in any Dark Machine list, it just loses all the garbage coin flip stuff it's completely built around at the moment. And finally, ending on a bit of an easier prediction, Lupine to 2 or Thunder Dragon Dark to 2. Thunders, as much as I enjoy the deck, are most likely going to be receiving some kind of hit. And just looking at the list, you can tell it's probably going to be a brutal one. Nearly the entire list is made up of ultra rares and SRs from boxes, and the deck already runs a card limited to 2, meaning there isn't really a whole lot of choice left when it comes to limits here. The deck really does only have 2 options for Konami to look at: Lupine, which is a normal rarity, and the Mokuba drop reward, Thunder Dragon Dark, which has already been on the ban list at 2, proving that Konami are definitely willing to make this change. Most likely one of these 2 cards will be limited to 2 to compete with Charge the Light Brigade and Gold Sark, which, to be honest, both these changes seem way too harsh for the list and will probably just outright kill the deck at a competitive level. But this isn't a ban list wish list, this is a prediction, and I'm just going off history repeating itself here, and there isn't much left to choose from when it comes to hits in this deck, so if Konami does hit this deck, it's likely to be a murder scene. Alright guys, that's it for my predictions this time around. Let me know what you guys reckon we banned on this upcoming list, specifically in regards to Noble Knights, as like I said, I don't really play that deck, so I'm really not sure what they're going to ban considering the value of most of the cards in the list. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing once again. I'm getting pretty close to 40k now and I would like to hit that as soon as possible. Reminder, if you do have any ideas for a 40k video, feel free to leave them down below as well. Thank you guys for watching, laters.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob?
Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis.
Oh.